I'm pretty sure Alabama Athletic Director Greg Byrne is a pretty smart guy. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But what he told ESPN yesterday pertaining to field or court storming was one of the most perplexing things I've really ever heard. He said, and I quote, "Now, if we said that the home team, if they storm the field or the court, they're going to lose the game right then and there, that will stop it." Well, in theory, maybe that is somewhat viable, but in practice, that would be an absolute disaster. Because what's stopping the opposing team's fans dressing up in the home team's gear and storming the field after they lose to overturn the outcome? Now, before you say, Jake, nobody's that crazy. Nobody will ever do that. Harvey Updike tried to poison the city of Auburn's water supply. People would most definitely do it. And then there's the betting angle. We could literally fix games by doing what I just said. It would never work in a million years. So why would he say it? Well, that one's easy. You see, Alabama's the top dog in college football and basketball right now. They don't ever storm the field because rarely do they upset someone at home. And on the few occasions they do, I believe most Bama fans feel it's beneath them. So it's an extreme solution to a problem that Greg Byrne doesn't have. So it would really only benefit him and Alabama. In fact, Alabama allegedly stormed the field for the last time in 1956 after a thrilling 13-12 win over Mississippi State. So, Mr. Byrne, we appreciate your input, and you seem like a pretty stand-up guy, but my brother in Christ, this ain't it. David Cohn, I can't believe he said that. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm all for ideas. I'm a positivity guy. I thrive on ideas. And you can see the tweet here talking about what he said on ESPN. That would never work. That is an absolutely horrific idea.
Let me get this straight. The athletic director at Alabama says if you storm the field or court, it should result in forfeiture.
Yes.
This is like the king telling the peasants, you can't go out and hunt your own food anymore or something. I don't want to hear from you on this issue. What does Greg Byrne know what it's like to be Tennessee and lose to Nick Saban 16 straight times? Brother, the goalposts are going in the water tonight. Yeah. What does he know what it feels like to be Vanderbilt and you bring Diego Pavia in. You finally beat Alabama at home. He doesn't know. The best point you made is he's coming up with solutions to things that aren't a problem. We don't have a problem here. It seems to me like college football won't be happy until it's the NFL, completely lacking, devoid of passion. And the NFL won't be happy until they're the NBA somehow. Yeah. And the NBA is never going to be happy until Michael Jordan comes back.
No, that's true. Blaine, I'm sitting here wondering the backlash of what would happen if for some reason this rule got put in.
There's no way.
And somebody stormed a court or a field, and then they're like, "Oh, well, you lose." Like, I don't know what would happen. If it's me, I'm Jackie Mooning it. Next game, we're off the court. Like, no, we're not even showing up. Like, I just wonder how bad that would actually be if that got implemented.
Well, like, it's crazy to me because if Bama storms something, this would be the other way. It'd be the other way. It just kind of feels like a thing that is this Alabama slowly losing grip? Slowly losing grip of the domination of football.
Is it like a power move to see how much?
Well, first of all, how entitled does this guy think he? Who do you think? You're telling me after a team that beats Bama, whether it's football, basketball, you're going to forfeit the game because some drunk 19-year-olds ran out on the court or the field?
Well, and I will say this. I think we could do it better. I think the players should be off the field until the court or field is stormed. I'm fine. I actually don't mind the fines, to be honest with you. I think that's really the only way you can go about it. But, like, getting the players off the field, because remember what happened with Jermaine Burton and I think it was the Tennessee fan or whatever. It is kind of dangerous for the players. I mean, there's been times where it's gotten really thick in there. And when you have this many people going at once. But, like, here's the thing, David. Even if you wanted to say, hey, let's make sure we get the players off the field, how are you stopping that? Yeah, what is going to stop that?
Well, if you're a fan and you're just doing it so that you can go get up close proximity to the other team's players so that you can laugh at them or mock them, whatever happens to you, you deserve.
I do agree with that.
That's part, but most of the fans who are rushing the court or rushing the field aren't doing it for that. Do you see that right there? They didn't all get together and talk about this. right? Like, this is a thing that only happens when you experience something that's seismic. Now, the discussion on when can you or when can you not storm the field, we can have that. Like, if it's just some mid-victory that you've had. But there are times when you already know in advance. Like, if we were somehow to win this game, no one needs to talk about it. You just go do it. And what's a greater compliment to Greg Byrne and Alabama that anytime someone beats you, the field gets stormed, but your program is such a high pedigree that you never do it. That's a high-class problem, if you even want to call it a problem.
And it's not like they're storming your field. They're not messing up your stuff. They're storming their field.
See, that's a great point. It's not like they're tearing your goalposts down.
Yeah, your goalposts are fine.
It's not like you're on the hook for $250,000 or something.
And this is what makes one of the reasons what makes college sports great.
Thank you.
What makes it, like, you don't see this in the NFL. You don't see this in Major League Sports. You only really see it in college. And Jake, I go back to what you said. What would stop me this Saturday from getting 20, not even 20 of my friends, paying 20 people, probably not a lot of money, I mean $50 each, to go to Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
All right. And if Alabama wins that game, we're storming the...
No. And to your point, they would do it. I mentioned Harvey Updike. People do crazy things. But again, my thing is more on the betting angle. Why would I not start a Facebook group full of a bunch of people and say, listen, I'm going to put $1 million on this game. All right, the number one Alabama.
Do it this Saturday. Alabama
do it this Saturday to change the outcome of the game. I'm going to bet on the other team. It's going to get overturned, and we're going to win money. That's what I'd do. Hell, I'd start a storming the court group on Facebook. Get 50,000 people in there. Hey, listen, we're going to split up this money. We're going to do it every weekend. Quit your job. You don't got to do plumbing anymore. You don't have to be a librarian. You don't have to work at 7-Eleven or even be a senator. We're just going to storm the field in the court and make all this money.
Why do you always, like, some rich people just have to ruin things?
But another win for the people is having amazing coffee. Because I know you guys drink a lot of it out there. And for you younger ones, you're going to drink it when you get older if you don't do it now. So you might as well drink the best. And that's where Black Rifle Coffee comes in. Because not only do they have a versatility and variety and huge selection of dark roast, light roast, and everything in between, they even have a coffee quiz on their website, David. Now look, I never was great on quizzes, hated tests, midterms, kill me. But if it's a coffee quiz,
I'll get 100 on that.
Yeah, I'll get 100 on that every time because it pairs you with a blend perfectly tailored to your specific taste. And a portion of every purchase you make with Black Rifle Coffee goes towards supporting veteran and first responder causes, which means your money goes a long way toward giving back to those who serve our nation. And again, they've got some great blends and the names are pretty cool too. So head to blackriflecoffee.com now. Use code DailyWire, that's all one word, for 20% off America's coffee. That's blackriflecoffee.com. Use code DailyWire and go take that coffee quiz if you're a little bit unsure on where you land. They say it's the wine of morning drinks, Black Rifle Coffee. That's not the worst thing that happened that's kind of tied to ESPN. Not that Greg Byrne is part of ESPN. He said it on ESPN. A guy I got a lot of respect for, one of my favorite baseball commentators, Carl Ravitch, all right, was doing a basketball game. And he said this. Let's go ahead and bring up the clip of Carl Ravitch trying to kind of downplay the SEC's success in basketball by using math. It just wasn't very subtle. Let's go ahead and play the clip from the basketball game.
So think about it. We know how dominant they were in the non-conference season, the SEC. They were 185-23. Since January 4 into Tuesday, the SEC teams are 82-82. It's not as if one team, or two teams, or three. They're 82-82. There's been no ability to pull away. There's no dominant.
They can't pull away, guys. He's exactly right.
And so it gets worse. And, you know, in today's society, when you screw up, you might as well take the L. Okay?
Yeah.
This is the first tweet from Carl Ravitch when he landed.
I think Carl does a good job.
I think he does a good job. I think he's a good guy. Job. He said, just landed and see X is on fire. Simple explanation. Tongue-in-cheek, 82-82 record was to illustrate any night either team can win and one will. Wow, that's a bold statement there. Not that happens in every game. Clearly very poor execution on my part. It's amazing that Alabama and Auburn have only lost once in such a great conference. That's all. Okay, this is what happens when you don't take the L. I heard you say that. It was not tongue-in-cheek. You really thought you found gold, and you used it to illustrate a point that there's not a dominant team in the SEC, and then you say in your tweet that it was to illustrate how dominant Auburn and Alabama was.
How about 4 hours later?
Yeah, so then 4 hours later, apparently our friend Carl had enough. He said, 4 hours after landing and reading all the responses, it's overwhelming. I will heed the advice of my ex-friends and take the L.
My ex-friends.
My ex-friends, take the L. My bad, my mistake. Always appreciate the feedback and grateful for the audience. A bunch of huge games left. Let's enjoy it.
You know what someone said under there? They said, with the 2 posts that Carl Ravitch put out, he was 1-1.
Yeah, and just if you're out there and you're confused why we're making fun of this, it's because it's impossible for the conferences not to be 500. Because every game now is a conference game. It is a mathematical impossibility for it to be anything other than 82 and 82.
I don't know, man. I heard the ACC was 82 and 82 against.
Well, I think we have the Duke is 82 and 1.
Do we have the Mark Pope video
of what?
Wait, did Mark Pope call him out?
Yeah. Let's play this.
Coach, everybody talks about the SEC being the best conference in college basketball, but the conference is just 500 since conference play started. What do you make of that?
I think it's been a really disappointing start to conference play. I feel like we should, I feel like we're not living up to the expectations, just being at 500 as a conference. And I'm kind of looking around at the other programs in the league, but like, guys, we got to pick this up. This is embarrassing.
No, that's
so we'll find a way. I believe in this league. I think we definitely have an upside, and we're going to work really hard to get there.
Good for him.
Look, Mark Pope is so much more likable, I think, than Coach Cal. So much more likable than Coach Cal. All right, let's get to the chat here.
All right, chat, hit that like, hit that subscribe button if you donate. It's on topic. It will get read. We're going to start a donation off with a $5 donation from Rocky Top Tom. If you needed more proof that sports have been ruined by rich suckers who never played it down in their lives, this is it.
Yeah, it's just like going back to the Greg Byrne thing. I mean, look, come to the table with ideas. But I got a book. What does he say on the campaign? Like, I got a book of good ideas. Mm-hmm. Like, this is just... that's just an awful idea. Like, that would never work. I mean, why don't you just say even crazier stuff?
To your point, if fans were storming the field of their opponent and tearing things down, and that was the thing, right? We've earned this right because we had a big win, so we can mess your stuff up and you're on the hook for $100,000. That's a problem we need a solution for. If every time it happened, players are getting in altercations and fans are getting physically injured or something, that's a problem that needs a solution. I don't see a problem here.
No, I don't either.
Let's go to a $1.99 donation from the Rod. He's like, something about Mark Pope I dislike a lot better than that used car salesman, even if we lost to him at home.
Well, and that's true. I mean, Coach Cal's done a lot of good. I mean, he's obviously had success and did some good things at Kentucky. But the likability factor, Mark Pope just, you know why I think it is? Mark Pope doesn't seem like he's full of it. Like, I think that's like who Mark Pope really is. Not that, and I've heard stories about Cal being a great guy and this, that, or the other. But Cal just like, I don't know, he comes off as kind of a sleaze. I mean, he does. That's just the way, I mean, it's a great point. The used car salesman, I think Mark Pope just seems kind of more like genuine, I guess.
Let's go to a $2 donation from Stu. Appreciate it, Stu. I don't know how Greg Byrne's got his job. I swear the more he talks, the dumber he sounds. I guess Saban just covered it up for all these years.
David, and I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt of, like, obviously being a smart guy, it takes, some ability, obviously, to get to that level. But, we were talking before the show, and you made a point. This isn't the first kind of thing he's been off on him. You go back to the Brandon Miller situation, and just
was tough.
This
topic, this is multiple times on this topic now, too.
Yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like as much of a tight ship as it used to be.
$10 donation from the Gale. Appreciate it. Says, Burns is one of the dumbest guys I know. Don't listen to him. I'm telling you, Alabama's going to be fine. I'm not worried about it. No one's going to storm the field against us anymore because we're trash.
Well, and
that's an Alabama fan.
Yeah, and that's an Alabama fan. I get it. It's like, when the one person in your group like just kind of makes you look bad, and you're like, God, don't do that. Like, we had a guy in college that I played with that we'd be walking around like at downtown, and he'd like whistle at girls and stuff, and just catcall and dude. We're like, bro, what? Stop! Dude, you're making all of us look bad when you do stupid things like that.
Why were you doing that, man?
Yeah, Blaine, why did you do that in college?
Why were you doing that with the group?
No, that's not even the worst thing you did. I don't want to get into it.
All right, the poll was, should field storming be banned? Yes or no? What do y'all think?
Come on,
Did they say yes? Did they say yes? 50%?
No. I need over 85% on that.
No, 89.
Come on, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
I like that. Good for the people. Hey, what's up, YouTube? Appreciate you guys being here. If you haven't noticed, on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we're dropping new segments of our new show, Locker Room Talk. So make sure you're subscribed and keep up with that, as well as all the beautiful things here at Crain Company Goes to College.